Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? I'm super confused why this Kratos is using Taki's weapons, but I guess we'll let it slide. Vinland Saga this week, guys. My lord. This show truly knows how to continue its greatness through uh, just being honest with its characters, being relatively straightforward in the case of giving us the information that we want. And I guess a police officer wants to be in the video. But when we get all the stuff that we expect to be something and it doesn't turn out to be anything that we actually expect it to do, that kind of blew my mind, right? Like, to get Thorfinn to see someone from his past and not only see him, but actually remember who he is to the T of, oh, that's someone I should know, like that's pretty crazy that he has any type of memory of anybody, including with all the tragedy he went through. Oh, that was sick. Um, but with that being said, it's obvious that whatever kind of transpires now throughout the show, when it comes down to him meeting people from his past, we have a pretty good understanding of what he just might do, right? Like, he might just be relatively disappointed that no one back then came to, deal the final blow to the guy who took out his father. It's not like when Thorfinn was with them, he all of a sudden saw like a whole bunch of, assassination attempts on Aslad for doing that to his father. So the only person truly wanting revenge was him. So that's something else that's probably weighing heavily on his mind, weighing heavily on his overall want to fight, want to get this thing handled and squashed, because at the end of the day, he's, like I said, the only one that like truly cares enough to want to finish this, right? And as of this week, we see the prince going into this town and pretty much not being in any position to be able to, you know, stop this assassination and to go through with all this different stuff. It's going to put the king in a worse position, because naturally, just by the prince being attacked, it automatically put out rumors out there that people could start making or coming to the conclusion of seeing, what's going on, how things are popping off. And those are the types of things that give you some type of warning to come, in the case of, if our main characters can easily, make plans like this and, try to trick the overall masses of people. It just goes to show you how much intelligence, and not, I was going to say courage, but more like intelligence and unwillingness to stop grinding for whatever reason. Like, you would think that they would stop pushing against the king if the king had certain things that would scare them off, but the king hasn't shown anything like that, besides the fact that he might be able to get Thorkill on his side if he offers him, the right type of stuff or something along those lines, and you might lose out on one of your strongest assets. That's about the craziest thing the king can do at this point, that I think everybody would be afraid of. But regardless of all that, even if he does kind of attack these characters, like the king actually goes out of his way to send in some assassins, seeing how the assassins weren't his in the first place, I definitely look forward to seeing what that brings to the end of the day. What does that actually happen? Because he did, in fact, probably want the prince assassinated, but to think that someone else attempted it, and then not only attempted it, fail, and not only fail, but lead to make Aslad's, soldiers look good at the same time by snuffing out the assassin. It just goes to show you that even when he's not on the spotlight, Aslad is always making moves against, you know, anybody who he believes or deems unfit to be his ally. He's going to treat you like an enemy. So why can't I grab? I was just, oh my god, that's annoying. I'll lose them because I try to grab. But overall, with the Vinland Saga being the way it is and having Thorfinn get a chance to really think about going home and whatnot, we really get the understanding of how much this, urge to destroy is growing on him. This want to kill is becoming really the main thing to make this character who he is now, which is kind of sad in the grand scheme of, instead of him being, the hopeful, cheerful person like this Fisher, like the guy from the old village remembered, this kid that, really just wanted to be around his father and learn how his father did stuff, is now this kid who only wants revenge and is going to stop at nothing to get said revenge. So it's crazy to see his perspective of the kid changing, and then to see, what truly comes with pain, anger, and suffering is, something you can't really take back or change for some people, right? Like, sometimes life always will take things from you. You can't do much about it. But regardless, we're gonna see just what happens at the end of this all, because I am 10,000% invested in it, including seeing how uh, the assassination was stopped just because it was a fake assassination. Like, it's stuff like that that makes you really, really curious about where the story's going to end, with our main characters being, willing to straight up sacrifice slaves or sacrifice whoever the heck is in the way, and then be like, oh, well, you know what? We're just going to write this off as sorry. Like, oh, sorry to this lady that helped the prince survive, but we got better things to do. You were useful for now, but now we gotta go. So it's one of those things that kind of give you this eerie feeling that we're not safe, right? Like, no one's really safe when it comes down to these characters in this world. And there's still stuff like this going on to this day, where there's certain people that are much more important, and there's people that aren't as important. So the only thing they're good for is being used as tools, like we just saw this week. So it's crazy how much the show has, like, gone from beginning to middle to end now. Like, how much has changed, how much has popped off ever since. Stuff like that has really blown my mind to see. But at the same time, I expect nothing less from Vikings. Like, I expected one of the most brutal stories ever, and what did I get? A really brutal story. So I wasn't that far off, which is awesome. But at the same time, I definitely want to see what you guys are saying about this week's episode and Vinland Saga as a whole, because as of now, it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, either this show is a love or hate thing, and if you hate it, I would love to hear that, because there's a lot of stuff that sure is not the best storytelling aspect of things, but there's not a lot of things in this show that make me be like, okay, this is unwatchable because this happened and this and this and that. Like, I haven't found anything like that. So if you found something like that, I'm sorry to hear it, but at the same time, I do want to hear it, so maybe I can get an understanding of why this show might not become top because of how some people felt about certain things, or whatever the case may be. But regardless, I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely be trying to get more content out to you later today. So if you are interested in hearing from your boy, or if you just want more content on anime in general, that's all I do here. I don't really go outside the lines of other stuff that isn't anime. I try to stick with anime, Rick and Morty, which is, like, kind of adult themed cartoons, so like a Family Guy level of a cartoon or something like that. Um, but anything else that's like really inspiring to me, I do want to like touch up on it. Maybe like even a video game I might be playing a lot of or something. But other than that, I get to play video games and talk about the one thing I truly love, which is anime. And not only that, I get to share it with amazing people that love to hear from me. So it's getting amazing to just be on this platform with you guys, and I hope you guys are having an awesome one, and I will talk to you very soon. So with that being said, peace. I didn't mean to do that.